Welcome back to The Breakfast Show. It is 9:15 on a Tuesday morning. Now, type in the phrase financial freedom on the internet and you'll hit tons of sites telling you how to achieve that much sought after fiscal independence.
The one thing they all say is that you and no one else is responsible for your financial situation.
So just how do you become financially responsible so that you never have to worry about money in your golden years?
Well, you're going to be glad you're watching today's show because this morning we have with us a financial freedom coach, Mr. Yap Ming Hui. Good morning.
Good morning.
And you're author of 4 books.
Five books.
5 already?
Yeah, the latest one.
Wow.
Yes.
Good,
So
good,
what
good.
is your main message in all those books?
I think the main message is that everyone can achieve financial freedom if they were to optimize their money and minimize the unnecessary mistakes.
Right, so how do
Yes.
we optimize our money?
Yeah, I'm going to share with you how later.
Okay.
Yes, with a case study. So today I'm going to talk about retirement planning.
Right.
How to enjoy a comfortable golden retirement years. Yes. So I don't know, Joanne and Daphne.
Yep.
Do you all know that more than 70% of Malaysians finish spending their EPF money 3 years after withdrawing the money from EPF? You aware of that?
3 years after?
Yes,
No,
which means
that
to
I
say,
was not aware.
which means to say, if they withdraw the money
Right.
at the age of 55,
Right.
so by 58, 70% of them will have finished all the EPF
That means they
they
have
bought.
no more savings.
No more EPF money anymore. So it just shows how poor Malaysian in planning for retirement planning.
Yeah, I actually read an article, I think 2 years ago, that said that we need to have ₱1,000,000
Yeah.
when we retire to live a comfortable life for the rest of our years.
Yeah.
Say if you live till about 80
Sure.
plus.
Actually, they'll be actually close to that.
Right.
So today, actually, I got a perfect example to share with you.
Okay.
I have a case of George. So I'm going to share with you how we can help George to achieve his golden retirement years.
Okay, shall I be your
And-
Vanna White?
Okay.
Okay,
I
we've
appreciate
got
that.
our little
Right, I'm going to hold
board
this up
here.
for you.
Yes.
Okay, so this is George.
Josh. So what happened is that actually I sat down with Josh, okay, and did some fact finding about him. Then actually we discovered that actually this is his financial goals.
Right.
Okay, he wants to retire at 55 with 96,000 living expenses.
In a
In a year.
year, okay.
Are you cool with that?
Okay.
8,000 per month. So he want to provide 200,000 for each child's university education. You know, they want to send out to university. George is now 36 years old, the wife's 34. He's got 2 children, one 8, one 5 years old. They got combined income of 220,000 income
Per year.
per year.
Okay.
And then they spend about 120,000. They got house, unit trust, bank saving, EPF for husband and wife.
Okay.
And the house still got some mortgages.
All right.
So, Daphne and Joanna, just to test your financial savingness, is that.
Are you going to
do
ask
think-
us if we have this
Yeah,
much?
do you think?
Because I'm not going to answer
No,
you.
I'm not going to ask you the question. I'm going to ask you a different
Because I'll be
question.
very ashamed.
Yes, no, I won't embarrass you with that. No?
Yes.
I won't give you a chance to show off, okay? Now, I just want to ask you, do you think Josh can afford to retire comfortably at age 55? Looking at this
Not if he
information.
spends his EPF in 3 years. Well, if he sells his house, then he won't have a roof over his head.
He's only got, oh no.
No.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. Both of you actually, surprisingly, actually, is very good in financial information.
Because we spend too much money.
Yeah, we know. You know?
Yes. Guess what? You can see George's situation. Basically, if you look at George's situation on the second page,
Right.
okay,
Okay, Vanna White, well done.
okay. How do we know that George really cannot afford to achieve his retirement comfortably? You can see here, this is his net worth at the age of 36. So his net worth will continue to grow up to the age of 45 years old, and then it will drop significantly. Guess what happened here?
Why? At the age of 46, so you say?
Yes. Remember just now we said that you want to provide 200,000 for the eldest
his
son
kids.
Right.
going to university.
Okay.
That's how costly a child is going to be.
So it's all the kids' fault.
Yes, it's about the
it.
kid's fault. Okay, and then 2 years later, okay, then the second child is going to the uni.
Right.
That's where I think George going to the submersion
below the
below the
okay.
water. Okay, up to 54 years old. That's why you can see that his wealth jumped to $1 million. Remember just now, Joanne, you mentioned about $1 million. Okay, when you retire, and then 2 years later, when the wife retired, the money moved to 2.4 million.
Okay.
That's I think the peak of their wealth.
Okay.
But then you can
why
see
is that though?
because the wife received another EPF money.
Right.
for the wife portion.
That's
Okay.
provided. Okay.
Provided for
Okay.
that.
Use it, okay.
So then from there on, you can see they're supposed to spend 96,000 a year. And when they start spending 96,000 a year, you can see their wealth continue to drop. And by the time of 64 years old of George, everything got finished.
Miola.
He's back to where he was when he was 48.
Oh, dear.
Yes. Now, how do you feel, Daphne?
Very sad
Well,
for
I
George.
hope that the kids are helping him out now.
Well, here actually, you definitely got to actually depend on the children. Okay,
Right.
but the idea is that how can we actually help Josh, okay, to make his wealth to actually last, as you can see here.
Oh, wow.
Joanne, the blue color. We want to actually help Josh to make his wealth last up to at least 80 years old, which is the life expectancy of the most Malaysian.
Is that
Right.
even possible? Because we're
Yeah.
looking at 4.5 million here.
Yes,
It's
and that's going to be another 18 years more.
Right.
So I'm going to need bright ideas from two beautiful ladies here.
Okay.
What do you think you can do for George?
Invest in something.
Invest in something.
Win the lottery.
Or
Win
the
a lottery. Of course. So what else do you think can be done?
Jeez.
Yeah, I guess a lot of it. I mean, a lot of people tell us, invest your money when you're younger so that you see
Or
returns.
save more, things like that.
yeah.
Is it? But the point is that specifically how much to save.
Right.
Specifically, how much return you need to achieve in order to actually make the wealth last here. Now, so I'm sure both of you would like to know how to do that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yes, please.
okay. Now let's look at Josh's situation. Specifically, Josh will need to actually do these 4 things.
Okay,
So
this-
Josh will need to do these 4 things in order for him to actually make the wealth last up to 2 years old. First, number 1, he to increase the return to 9%. Number 2, he need to reduce the living expenses from 120,000 to 105,000.
Okay, just about
So
15.
about
okay.
15,000 a year, I think it's
That's
manageable.
still okay.
And then retirement living expenses, he cannot afford 96,000. He got to actually cut 12,000 a year, which is 1,000 per month less.
Right.
Also manageable, I believe, Joanne. And last but not least, is insure himself for 200,000 critical illness expenses.
Right.
You see, we don't get sick when we are young. We only get sick when we are old, 60 years old, 65 years old. So it's important for you to actually insure yourself against all these medical expenses so that you don't have to come up from your own pocket. Let
Right.
the insurance company pay for you. Now, I know some of you may wonder, actually, Daphne or Joanne may think, but yeah, I'm not George. Whatever you suggested for George may not apply to both of you and also to the viewers in front of the TV.
Right.
So I'm going to share with you some hot tips for
Okay, now
everyone
this is what we
of
want.
us, okay, that's applicable to Daphne, Joanne,
And everyone else.
anyone else there
watching.
in front of TV. So number 1, I think what we need to do in order for us to achieve retirement, work out how much retirement living expenses you need to spend when you retire. So imagine by the time you are 55, you need to figure out whether how much household expenses you need to spend, how much medical bill you need to pay, how much leisure, hobbies, expenses you're going to have, and then you total up. So it could be 5,000 per month, 8,000 per month, or 10,000 per month. Next, this is a golden question for us to answer. Find out if your EPF saving is enough.
What is
Because
enough, though?
Yeah.
Enough is to say that, say for example, to spend 5,000 per month at the age of 55, you may need 1 million, like you said just now.
Right.
The question is that you need to figure out whether your EPF that you contribute now will eventually grow to 1 million.
Right.
So if you have got more than 1 million, then it means that what you have got is enough. Okay. Now, some of you may be quite puzzled. How am I going to know how much my EPF going to be? Now, if ever we have EPF. Now, I have got provided a worksheet for you to calculate whether you have enough EPF at my website, www.yapminghui.com. So you go to the website, you look at the latest news section, you can go to download Excel worksheet, whereby you can go in to key in whether you have enough EPF to take care of your retirement.
Oh, that's
Okay.
great. So yes,
Yeah.
on your screens right now, www.yapminghui.com.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the third
then?
point is to start saving early.
Oh,
Now, I know both of you still very young, okay? But it
Why,
cannot,
thank you.
thank you.
it cannot be too young to plan for your retirement. So the best time to start actually is
Around your 30s?
yesterday. Okay, for any one of us, to start as early as possible.
Right.
Okay, last but not least, insure ourselves against medical expenses. You do not want to be bogged down with all those major medical expenses. You watch Jerry Maguire.
Yes.
His friends actually become broke paying medical expenses. So this is what I will share this week.
Okay.
So I hope that you have picked up some useful tips.
Well, so that's some of the hot tips that you've given, but like Joe and I, who don't contribute to the EPF, or our employers don't because we're freelancers, how about that? And and there's just so many insurances, medical insurances to choose from. Again, that becomes it becomes a bit intimidating. How do you choose all this?
I guess both of your case, freelancer, I think we get to cover another topic, right? As to say that for freelancer, how can we actually plan for retirement? Because I think the topic that we talk today very much relevant to those people who contribute to EPF. Okay. So in fact, the next week I'm going to share about how mother, better to see whether mother can afford to stop working so that to raise children at home.
Right.
No, because a lot of mothers thinking whether they can afford to.
They can afford, and then they'll take away the fact that they need a helper, a domestic helper. With
But just going back to talking about our
Sure.
EPF and how you say that a lot of us spend it in our first 3 years after retirement. So what are the other options are there in terms of saving are there for this? I mean, talk about trusts and mutual funds, and how do you pick the best one for you?
I guess importantly is that first thing we need to know whether our EPF is enough.
Right.
If EPF is enough, congratulations. No, you know that you have enough.
But you always
to
want
achieve that.
more than that,
so
right?
if you want more, if you want more, you don't have enough. Then what you need to do is to figure out, okay, how much more you need to save. Say for example, just now you say that maybe what you need actually is total 1.5 million by age 55.
Right.
You find that your EPF may grow to maybe 800,000. So you are short of 700,000. So then you need to figure out a regular saving scheme. So I would suggest a regular saving scheme, the most convenient in Malaysia for the average Malaysian would be unit trust scheme.
Okay.
Okay, whereby you may commit to spend to actually save 500 ringgit per month, so that by then you actually calculate in such a way that so they can actually build up to the value of 700,000, so that you have a total of 1.5 million at 55.
Okay.
Yes, of course the issue of selecting funds will be a subject for another
day
episode
altogether.
And how does life insurance work in terms of savings? I mean, it does two things. It covers your medical expenses. It also acts as a savings for the long term.
I hope to actually break a myth here. Because a lot of Malaysians, we like to actually take insurance as a forced saving kind of arrangement. I'm afraid to say that insurance is best, is good for protection. Protect ourselves against death, against disability, against medical expenses. But as far as saving element is concerned, normally the expenses under insurance company is very high and the return is very low. So you end up getting, say, 2-3% return, or for your saving, whereby if you invest into the right fund under unit trust, you may get about 9%, and the difference between about 6% make a hell of a lot of difference as to how much money you can enjoy.
So basically you're saying is, keep your life insurance as your medical expenses protection.
Purely protection.
And not so much as savings.
Yes, and then identify other saving vehicles that actually can give you a higher return over the long run. Otherwise that you will actually sell yourself short for your golden retirement may not be that golden anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Be more bronze in that sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Unfortunately, we have run out of time, but I was saying we're seeing you again next week to talk about how mothers can be financially independent.
Yes,
So,
and then I just want to add is that because for the next few episodes that we got, we would like to actually invite the viewers to actually send in the questions for me to answer.
Okay,
great.
And we have those details for you actually. We can just key them up on the bottom of the screen. You can send an SMS to Mr. Yap at 012-754-1698.
Or you can email him at inquiries@yapminghui.com.
And of course, the website again is www.yapminghui. That's YAPMINGHUI.com.
All right, well, thank you so much, and we'll be seeing you back on the show next Tuesday.
Yes.
Looking forward to that. And if you do have any questions, especially mothers out there, since we are on that topic, please do SMS us once again at 012-754-1698. Should be in the screens in a bit, or later on we'll flash it. Or you can email us at tbs@ntv7.com.my to find out more details.
Anyway, thank you very much, Mr. Yap. We'll see you again next week.
See you.
Bye now.